Hey, welcome back. We are back in the Bluegrass again today. I'm your host, Steve Farno, a realtor here at Keller Williams Bluegrass in Lexington. Today, we're going to be discussing the Lexington school districts. What are your options? What types of things should you be thinking about and considering as you look at buying a home, selling a home, and the impact that the schools and what is offered impacts those decisions? Schools and education in Central Kentucky is something that is near and dear to my heart. I grew up in a house where my dad was a teacher, principal, and then associate superintendent for the Fayette County Public Schools through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And then he also, after retiring from that, became a principal at St. Peter Paul and ultimately the superintendent for the Diocese of Lexington. So my family is deeply in the weeds, so to speak, with both the public school system and some private school offerings here in Central Kentucky. So I have a very unique perspective, I think, on this. And certainly in our house, education was always stressed. It was always probably one of the most important things that we could do as a kid growing up. We had to make sure we were doing a good job in school. And it was something that was stressed and was very important. And I think that for anyone who has children, it's an important question. Where do my kids go to school? How does that impact their development and their growth? And I think even if you don't have kids, it impacts that decision on how you buy or sell a home, right? Because we know people want to be in what's considered to be good school districts for their kids. And they're willing to pay more for it. They're willing to do whatever it takes to give their kids the best possible chance and the best opportunities. And so where your kids go to school or where somebody buying your house's kids might go to school impacts that process and is an important thing to think about. We're going to cover a few things about the educational options here. There's Fayette County Public Schools. There's the Catholic school system. There's a number of private schools in town, from the elementary school all the way up through high school. All of them have unique offerings. All of them provide some great opportunities depending on what it is you're looking for. So we're going to cover a few of those things today to help you kind of have a better understanding of what your options are here in Central Kentucky and what that means as a homeowner and a potential buyer or seller in Lexington. We know that school districts and where your house sits does impact how desirable it may be for certain buyers. The thing I want to stress is that even if the school district that your house is in is ranked relatively low, I know from personal experience that no matter how great a school might be ranked, that the experience your child has is totally dependent on the teacher, right? And so great schools can have some bad teachers and some bad teachers are at great schools. So it is very dependent on that teacher and that personal experience that your kid is having. And it always comes back to the parent involvement to try to ensure that your child has the best possible experience available. Some things to consider when you're looking at schools and things to research are trying to find out the academic programs, the academic excellence at school, looking at those extracurricular activities. What types of things is your child interested in, and how can you make that easier for them based on where you live and what that school district may have as opposed to another one. Class sizes, student to teacher ratios are always something to think about. Looking at the school culture enrollment, the diversity that exists in those schools and the things that are offered. I know for me personally, my middle schooler has had an incredible experience at Morton with their music department. He went in there as a sixth grader, we'll give it a shot for band. And within a month, he was in it, right? And loving it and really, really doing some great stuff in band. And the development that he's had there in the last year and a half has been fantastic. And we really appreciate that experience that he's had there. And I think that might be unique within the Fayette County band community. I don't know. All I know is that it's been fantastic for my middle schooler and it's been great. So those are some things to think about as you make decisions on where to buy or sell your home. One thing that Fayette County does have is an open enrollment policy where you can apply to different schools based on certain needs and criteria. And so you need to do it early and often because it is very much determined by availability and space. You want to make sure that you educate yourself on what is out there and what different programs are at different schools. There's magnet programs, there's specialized programs for foreign language, and all kinds of things that you can decide that is important to you and your families within the different school systems that are out there. So do your homework, do the research. We're going to put some links in below for Fayette County, for the private schools, for everything that we can find that has to do with education in Lexington. We're going to put the links there so you can do some research and figure out what works for you and your family. If you're looking to move here and have questions questions, please give me a call. I'll be happy to have a conversation with you about that. Understanding the school options and what's available out there is important regardless of who you are, simply because of how it impacts the value of the home that you're buying and potentially selling later. The school districts matter, the options are important, and being educated and knowing what's out there is an extremely important part of being a homeowner and being involved in real estate in this community. I have a lot of great stories from my dad and his time in the educational systems here. My mom was also a teacher, so there's a lot of great history there in my family. But it matters, right? School systems matter when you're buying and selling a home. I think we've got a pretty amazing options here in Central Kentucky, which is one of the reasons it's such a great place to move and live and raise families and do all of those things if you're thinking about it. And if you're just looking to try to maximize your home's value, it certainly is great to know that there are schools here that people want to be a part of that will help you in your decision to buy and sell your home, whether you have kids or not. So it's an important factor when considering, because people are thinking about it. But if you have questions, let me know. We'd love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe down below. Check out the links we've left. Until next time, thanks for joining us.